Hi, I'm Isabella. My dad is obsessed with reality television, maybe even more so than I am.
She's not wrong.
This is Check Me Boomer, a father-daughter weekly dish on the latest in reality TV.
Good morning, Isabella.
Good morning, Dad.
Welcome to episode 11, everyone.
Welcome back. Glad to have you here.
What do we have on the agenda for today's show?
Today, I think I'm going to start with a couple of things that I've been watching that you don't watch. I have a couple things to say about Big Brother. And I did watch the first 4 episodes of House of Stassi that I just want to talk about a little bit. Other than that, our regularly programmed shows. We did watch the first episode of Ultimate Girls Trip. This will be coming out on Monday, so just so you know when you're listening, we have not seen episode 2.
So there won't be any spoilers for episode 2.
Correct. And then I'm hoping we can play our game again this week.
Okay.
And we watched a couple documentaries together last night that we could talk about as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to start with?
Okay, so I just want to start with Big Brother. It's really good right now. It hasn't been this good in years, if I'm being honest. But I want to shout out one person specifically, Lala. That's her nickname. Her name is LaTrice. She is a 58-year-old woman. And let me just tell you that she is so impressive because there's this competition they do every season called the Wall Comp, where you essentially have to hang on to a wall. Like, they give you a part to hang on to, and the wall is tilting forward, like way forward. So it's really a strength and endurance competition. It came down to Lala and an MMA fighter.
Wow. Okay.
In the end, and she won. Now, to give her a little bit more credit, she is a bodybuilder.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess I buried that lead. But regardless, it's so impressive. Like, I know Mom's not a bodybuilder, but picture Mom beating out an MMA fighter in a strength and endurance competition. It's crazy. Other than that, she was kind of on the bottom of the house, so she flipped the whole house around. For those that don't watch Big Brother, this competition that she won, it's the most important one of the week, where it means that you're safe and you're in charge of the house. So you get to nominate who goes up for eviction. So all the people that were on the top before are kind of on the bottom now. It's just everything's flipping around. Alliances are breaking up. It's really entertaining. So for anyone who's seen Big Brother before and maybe has fallen off because it hasn't been good, this would be a good season to jump back into, I think.
Okay. Good recommendation.
Yeah, that's all I got there. Okay. House of Stassi. This one, it's entertaining. It's a weird show because you can tell it's very self-produced. For context,
you watch it on?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
For those who may not know, Stassi Schroeder was an original cast member on Vanderpump Rules. She kind of was the main character. She had some controversies with some racism stuff that put her out of the public eye for a little bit, but I guess she's back and says that she's done the work to be better. My biggest thing here, I feel so terrible for this woman's husband, Beau. We've met him before on Vanderpump Rules. I always loved him. She is so awful to him. And you know me. It takes a lot for me to like really defend a man in these situations. But my God, she's awful. She's so let me just look at my notes and see what she's even. Oh, okay, so she's the breadwinner in the family, which is obviously fine. He, though, is like the stay-at-home dad. He's only there like taking care of his kids. Also fine. But he has this feeling that he wants to go back to work in some capacity. She's like, absolutely not. I will pay you to not go back to work. Which, God, I don't think you can say that to a man. Like, that's not cool.
Are you saying you can't say that to a man, but you could say that to a woman?
No.
Okay.
That's not what I'm trying to say. I just think, especially for a man, it's like very emasculating, right? Wouldn't you think so?
I could see that.
Yeah. Other than that, she's just making me cringe a lot. She won't stop talking about this Disney synergy of her like hanging out with the Mormon wives, and she is obsessed with Kris Jenner. Like, I started a Kris Jenner count in my notes, and I think I gave up on it because I've only seen 4 episodes. The last 2 I kind of was not paying attention as much, but in the first 2 episodes she mentioned Kris Jenner's name 5 times. I mean, okay. So they've got these arguments going on with their friends. Beau and his best buddy had an argument because I guess his friend is a big Eagles fan, and Beau didn't congratulate him on the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. They didn't speak for months because of this. Like, it's so stupid. The whole show is so stupid. I'm probably going to keep watching it and finish it. It's not entertaining. It's kind of like a hate watch thing for me.
Like McBee Dynasty is for me.
Yeah. Like, I kind of can't stand any of the people on this show except for Katie Maloney. So, yeah.
Is hate watch a real term, or did you just make that
No,
up?
that's a thing. I mean, I don't think it's like in the dictionary, but
Right, but
yeah, I think it's a thing.
Okay.
Like, people like to hate watch like the Jake and Logan Paul show and stuff like that.
Maybe we can have a running hate watch list. So are all the episodes out?
Yes, they are all released on Hulu.
And is she catching flack on social media for treating her husband so poorly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any
Poor
from
guy.
you?
I mean, he's like, at this point, he's asking for her to kiss him in the morning. Like, I think it's so minor, the things that he's asking from her.
And that's on camera. So you have to imagine behind the scenes.
Exactly.
It's got to be worse.
Especially because she's very openly self-producing. So I think she's probably not acting as she really would without the cameras. But I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So that's all I had for those 2. Should we...
You want to do it in order of what happens during the week?
Sure. I guess that
What's
would mean
next
we
is
would start with
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Are you impressed that I remembered what day it shows, what day it comes out?
Well, I mean, it's not that hard to remember. No? I don't know. Okay. I didn't have a ton of notes for Atlanta. I think it's funny how often Kandi is brought up, and Candy's not on the show anymore.
Right.
Like, Andy made the joke about, oh, it's like a scheme Todd set up, and they're all laughing, but Candy's not even there. I mean,
Right.
I laughed at it too, but
This was the first episode of the reunion, right?
yes, I should have mentioned that. Reunion part 1. It's very clear to me watching these reunions with Atlanta that Andy is obsessed with Porsha, and that's his clear favorite.
Right.
Even when she's wrong, I think Andy knows that she's wrong, but still loves her. There was a lot of arguing that is kind of
Really?
hard to follow. Really? It's just hard to follow sometimes. But
I was hoping that it would be easier to follow, that Andy would kind of be the MC or the mediator, but it was just as bad as a regular episode. I just tuned out pretty quickly, especially for a reunion.
Well, I guess maybe that goes to my point from the last episode where I said Andy should probably like not cut them off when they're arguing so much. Maybe he was thinking that's what he was doing here, and not that I think that he should have cut it off. They were yelling over each other so much that I couldn't even hear what they were saying at a certain point. I guess it was very much Kay, Michelle, and Porsha were going at it. Also Kelly and Porsha. At a certain point, Angela's getting into it with, I don't even remember who.
I think Shamea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Shamea.
My favorite part was when Pinky conceded that Angela crushed her at that dinner read. And everyone agreed that she just got slammed. But I have to give credit to Pinky for conceding defeat, which no one ever does on reality television.
Especially on Atlanta.
Right.
I don't see that much in Atlanta. So, yeah, I'll give her credit for that, too. Shout out to Pinky. She is pregnant. She announced last week, I believe. So, congratulations to her. There were just some... Porsha announced that she's maybe going to, like, run for office. I just
No, not Porsha. It was
no
Phaedra.
Phaedra. Yes, sorry, I
Oh
misspoke.
yeah.
I misspoke. You obviously Portia's never gonna run for office. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there's
yeah,
like a minimum intelligence requirement to
that's
be
a
in
good
office.
point. But she's not the only Bravo star from Atlanta to run for office. I'm pretty sure a woman from Married to Medicine is actually running for some sort of office in Georgia. I don't know what it is, but it might even be state, but
Interesting.
it's just still ridiculous. We need to put a petition out there to stop reality TV stars from running for office.
Go be a DJ. It's a lot more
Yeah,
acceptable.
yeah, a DJ is great. Or an influencer, content creator, whatever. Not politics, please. Please, we're begging you. Let's see. I wrote down there are a lot of crazy quotes I won't repeat.
Okay. Could you even like just put in
I
like
think it was just
placeholders for some of what they said?
I think it was just the same issue that you have with the show a lot, where it's very raunchy and they're kind of like coming at each other like in gross ways. I don't remember what the exact quotes were, but I just remember like cringing a lot.
Okay, we can leave it there.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I guess I did mention Kelli and Porsha arguing, which is kind of sad to me because I thought they made up. They had like during the season they had like a sweet little makeup, but I guess that's all gone to the wayside for the reunion. Maybe they are cool. They just got into it again.
I think that happens on a lot of these shows. People make up on camera before the end of the season, so I question whether it was real or not. And then they get to see what was said about them in the confessionals. And then they also, there's social media that happens afterwards, including with cast members chiming in. So by the time the reunion rolls around, all bets are off and it's right back to square one.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But it doesn't, I still think it's sad for those two because they did have a very sweet conversation, but whatever. I thought it was funny that Drew I go back and forth on. Sometimes I like her, sometimes I can't stand her. I thought it was funny that she sent in her own question to Andy for Shamea, asking her why she didn't want K. Michelle to be friends with Drew. I don't even remember what the response was, but I thought it was funny that Drew sent in her own question.
I'm not even clear if that's going to continue for the rest of the reunion. It seems like that might have been the second question from a cast member for someone else, and maybe he was going to do that for the rest of it. Okay, interesting twist, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess I liked how it played out, how Andy was asking the question, but
right.
Drew's kind of sitting there like,
right.
I don't know.
I didn't like her bringing the movie set take one or whatever it's called. I'm sure there's a name for it. And they all laughed and they said, that's so funny. No,
she
it's not.
is just, no one is going to be Kenya Moore with the props.
Right.
No one's going to be, I know she's trying to have a moment, but no one's going to be like, I think Kenya Moore's brought, what's it called?
Bullhorn.
Bullhorn.
That even came up. They were talking about
Yeah,
that.
she brought like this little wand that she used one season that I think caused a fight with her and Porsha. Yeah, Drew's trying to make a moment, and I don't think it really worked.
It's more Desperate Housewives instead of Atlanta Housewives.
Yeah. I laughed because Angela randomly brought up Gary, which was Gary referred to in the season. There were multiple men that they were talking about in the season that I don't remember all their names, but everyone in the room on the other side of the couch was like, who's Gary? What are you talking about? Who's Gary?
You're asking me? That's
I know.
I'm not a great source.
I
for
just
like
we didn't get an answer on that, did we?
I'm guessing it was the same guy that came in where they were at a party and he and the wife were both there talking, and that's the one that Angela accused Shamea of sleeping with, and then the husband and wife both said no, that's not true.
Yeah,
I think that's who it was.
Yeah. Also, really quick, I know we didn't plan this, but I just want to say there are a lot of times where we maybe don't remember an exact quote, or we don't remember like who's fighting and what the reason is. if that's annoying to our listeners, let us know. We can very much do a little bit more research to make sure we have these down. But I don't know, we're kind of taking notes on what we think is important and relevant. So.
Right. And for iconic quotes, we're going to do a better job of referring to them verbatim. But we're doing this extemporaneously with very little planning other than to say, what shows are we going to cover and are we going to do the game this time?
Yeah. We're trying to keep it super genuine and not very
produced.
Yes, exactly. But if it gets annoying, we're always open to feedback. So, yes, we're saying we don't even know what they're arguing about anymore. And I kind of feel like most people would agree with us on that.
Well, and to be honest, if someone gives us feedback on this show in that instance, I am not going to go back and look at it because I'm so fed up with the show. And that's just a reflection of the show, not my unwillingness to do homework. I'm
Fair
so
enough.
fed up with it.
Yeah, fair enough. The only other note I had, and maybe we're going to see this more next week, but they were discussing off-camera events between Shamea and K. Michelle. Like, I guess maybe they've gotten into arguments behind the scenes, and they're still friends on air, but I guess something has gone down. We'll see if we find out more about that, or if it's another one of those things that's just kind of brushed under the rug.
Right.
I don't know. That's all I got.
Okay. Next is Below
This is
Deck
where
Med?
this is where it's going to get good. We're going to talk about the first episode of the Ultimate Girls Trip.
Oh, yes. UGT.
Also, I heard another podcast actually, shout out Snarkbait, if anybody listens. They called it Rugged.
Rugged?
Yeah. Which I know we usually do ruh, like we include the H. But
okay. That's how they're pronouncing it.
Yes,
Interesting.
that's how they're. So
Rugged.
we could go there, or we could just keep doing Ultimate Girls Trip.
Okay.
Okay, I had quite a few notes on this episode. There were a lot of flashbacks that I enjoyed. We started with where NeNe left off. The last time we saw NeNe was during the pandemic reunion when she just shut her computer screen and never came back, which I kind of forget about all the time. But lots of this show is good because it's a lot going on, but you see the little personalities of all of these kind of OG housewives, like Lisa Barlow even already saying, "Oh, 5A, right where I belong, first class."
Right.
Like that goes back to our reference from last week that she's always wanted to be in first class. Luann, what was this context? I wrote down Luann like J-Lo's from the hood. Do you remember what the context was?
She was getting out of her limo to show up, and they said, "Oh, from." I don't know. It was something about where she was from, and she's like, "Yeah, kind of like J-Lo from the hood," or something like that.
Yeah, J-Lo from the hood. Yeah,
I think it's Jenny from the block.
Jenny from the block is what she meant.
Even I know that.
Teresa is asking ChatGPT who the most famous housewife is. Oh, ChatGPT said I'm the most famous house. That's not a good impression of her, but.
Right.
Vicki is shamelessly selling her life insurance immediately.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and I don't even know Vicki that well. I know that there are a lot of mixed feelings about her, but Lisa Barlow responding to it in the confessional saying, "Girl, we just met you and you want our social security number already?"
Right.
Let's see.
And just so you know, Vicki is coming through exactly how she was back in the day when it was in real life. This is the way she was then, like holier than thou, high and mighty, very abrupt, and she just has this weird way about her. So it's not shocking. I am actually surprised that even after the first episode, there wasn't a fight with her, because it's going to happen. These women are not going to put up with that shit. And that's why it's great to have a bunch of not just OGs, but the best of the best. Well, maybe with some exceptions, but someone is going to push back on her. It's going to be
for
interesting.
sure. I think it's going to be Gizelle, because they're already kind of. Gizelle was being messy, and she told Tamra that Vicki was kind of talking smack about Tamra.
Right.
And so Vicki is now mad at Gizelle because Tamra ran back and told Vicki, what Gizelle said. So Vicki's now mad at Gizelle. Of course, she's saying she's out of my life now. And that's kind of where the episode ended. So we're going to see how that goes.
Gizelle is not going to care.
Oh,
That's
Gizelle.
what's going to be great. Is
that's what we love about Gizelle.
Right.
Because she's never like really upset about anything. She's going to be straight up, and she's probably going to be really funny about it. So I'm excited. The other thing that Vicki did that was messy. I think so far Gizelle and Vicki are the messy ones on this show. It's only been one episode. There's a lot of room for more, but they had these cardboard cutouts of themselves on the boat, on the yacht. And Vicki decides to ask the question of, who do you think's changed the most? I think it's Teresa.
Yes.
Which she's probably not wrong, but like, that's a crazy thing to ask, no?
She did it not trying to be messy. That's just, she's oblivious, I think.
I don't know.
That would have been much more likely to have been asked by Gizelle if she wanted to mess with. But she doesn't like to be messy based on personal appearance, at least that I can remember. But that scene was so cringy to me because they were all, you could tell it was like a pissing contest, or I would have said something different, but that I'd have to cut it out, where they're all trying to position and jockey about how they're the most important or their season was the most important. It got old pretty quickly. Like, move on. I don't care.
Yeah, I get it. For the record, obviously OC was the first. Atlanta put Housewives on the map. Like, Porsha was right about that.
I think that New York came in between, and so
yeah.
I don't know what they're debating about, like viewership or what, but yes, it got bigger and bigger. It got bigger from OC to New York, got bigger from New York to Atlanta, but I've never delved into the numbers to know. I think that that's right, but I've never verified it.
I wouldn't say I've delved into the numbers, but I've also seen in kind of the beginning days what had the most viewership. And it was by far Atlanta. Like it's not even close for probably for 6 or 7 seasons. It was overwhelmingly Atlanta was the most viewed. So Atlanta was Bravo's cash cow, really.
I don't doubt it. I'm going to look into it after this.
I don't think it's the same anymore. I really don't. Right. But I think at one point, you probably could have said Atlanta made Bravo famous because that's where they had their most viewers. But I guess it's debatable. Of course, OC started.
Right.
So that's a fair point. Oh, I thought it was funny that they're sitting on this yacht and Gizelle, which Gizelle is kind of a production plant sometimes. She asked everyone, okay, what's our like most iconic line? I was like, I just asked that on the podcast. Good idea, Gizelle. And sure enough, a lot of the things that they said were things we mentioned as well.
Right.
So it just proves that we know our stuff. Luann said that, Luann's kind of shading Vicki a little bit. She said Vicki has a mean streak. Gizelle agreed with her. I'm sure that's going to come out too.
Yep.
Oh, the bunco party? Did they have a bunco party? Is that right?
Yes, that's when the other cast members from OC showed up at some restaurant that is supposedly very famous in Orange County, and it's
the Quiet Woman or something
like that. And it was the site of some other big event that I don't remember. It might have been when I stopped watching, but they had a bunco night, and it was shocking how much some of the people had changed, but this obviously just the passage of time. And then I think it was just a great way to put in Tamra and knowing that she and Vicki are not getting along. And of course, sparks ensued and they fought and had their...
Yeah. I don't even think it's that. I think it's more Tamra and is it Shannon? No, I don't watch OC.
Shannon, Beador.
Yeah. I think the issue is that, at least what Vicki is saying, is that they are a trio. And Vicki and Tamra have been cool, but Tamra and Shannon have not been cool. And so they're not really a trio anymore.
They've been uncool.
Uncool. Don't be all uncool. No, I just thought it was funny that they had a bunco party because I remember Mom's bunco parties growing up.
The best part was when someone said, I don't know how to play. And someone said, if you can roll dice, you know how to play. There's no skill or strategy involved. I don't know if that's true. I've never played bunco, but someone told me that once.
Well, I did think it was funny that of all people, Teresa and Luann. Now, Luann, maybe not, but Teresa was like, they're all like, oh my God, they're so loud.
Right. That's rich coming from her.
Exactly. Exactly. Luann might not be super loud, but Teresa, I mean, come on,
Right.
girl. Okay, we talked about Gizelle and Tamra and Vicki and that whole thing. So that's going to play out on episode 2, which we will of course cover on our next episode, since it's not out yet at the time of recording. But I'm excited for the show in general. I think it's cool that they're traveling around. I think, for me at least, episode 1 when they're in the OC is kind of a warm up, because I don't know the OC as well.
Right.
Once they hit Beverly Hills, and especially once they hit Atlanta and NeNe Leakes comes out, I'm excited.
More to come.
Yeah, more to come. Okay, what do we have next? I think now we have Below Deck Med.
Okay.
Right? I have more notes for this week. Generally it's like chaos, I think. The whole crew is like having to help them dock the boat.
Right.
Which is kind of, I don't think we've ever seen that before on Below Deck, and we've been watching Below Deck for a while. They're talking about no egos involved. Well, except for Jen, of course.
Right.
Jen, who's still mad that she's not the chief stew. She's talking to Kat, saying that, she's talking to Aesha, saying, there's a lot of like behind the scenes struggle that you didn't see. I doubt that. She's talking about the little plate that they didn't bring in another plate for the appetizers. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
Nothing's going to be perfect.
Yeah. I think Jen is very two-faced too. She says a lot in the confessionals, and then once she's talking to Aesha, she's like not really saying everything she said in the confessionals. It's pretty two-faced. She's also talking to Kat about this whole thing, kind of venting to her, and I love how Kat jumps in and says, you're going to need to fix your attitude if you want to stay here. It's like, finally someone's calling her out.
I like that too. This does make me think about one of the biggest downsides to this whole franchise is the inability to do a real reunion because of how far apart these people are. They're back on another charter. And I know that they've tried to have people phone in, and I think that they've had some in the past, but someone's always missing.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if every season is always even attempted a reunion, but
I think they've kind of given up on it.
Right.
I haven't seen one in the last few years. You're right though. They did try it at one point. I'd rather that than nothing though, even if it's people, even if it's virtual.
Right.
I'd prefer that than nothing. So I don't know. I do feel like on crazy seasons they consider it more, which maybe they would for this one. I don't know. I did think it was crazy that Jen is saying in her confessional that she hopes that the next guests are difficult so cracks start to show. What a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, self-sabotage.
Completely.
Really
So petty. So petty. Let's see. Oh, Cooper's being weird. I mentioned this last episode. I was like, something's weird with him because he was all acting like he was obsessed with her until suddenly he wasn't. And he's blaming it on like, everyone's kind of watching us, and I feel like it's a lot of pressure on me. Cooper and Kat end up arguing in the bosun's locker where there are no cameras, but of course they're so mic'd, so we know what they're saying. Cooper, and oh my God, he's such a coward. I feel like I'm saying that so much on these type of shows where he says one thing in the confessional and then he says another thing to her face. And he's like, I think it's just too much pressure and we should like say that we've called it off, but be secret about it. It's just like, it's happened with Luke too. Not the exact same thing, but he was trying to say something and it didn't really land well, so he didn't correct it. It's annoying. It's annoying. You're leading these girls on. She now thinks that they're back and they're not really. But whatever. She actually does acknowledge, though, she was on Watch What Happens Live after, and she says, I was being really dumb. Like, that was stupid of me, so.
Meaning not to believe him?
Yeah, or to believe him that he wanted to still pursue things.
Got it.
So that was she realizes her errors. That's all I got for Below Deck, though.
Okay. I didn't have really much on that. It didn't help that the charter guests were pretty easygoing, so it minimized the drama to just among the cast and crew.
Yeah. The charter guests did seem pretty cool.
Right.
They were all like, no, this is the easiest. They're all going to bed right after dinner. Like, this is the easiest charter we've had.
Right. What's next?
Next is going to be the Valley.
Okay.
Reunion Part 2. Jesse and Michelle are still kind of going at it. Jesse is saying Michelle's lying about the $300,000 loan. I don't believe him, but I also don't believe he's as broke as Michelle is saying. And I also feel like Michelle could be exaggerating, but I don't believe that he didn't do it.
That was a tough one because some things he just denied completely. It seemed like he denied even borrowing the money.
Yeah, that's the part I don't believe. I
don't
he
either.
Did.
But then he also seemed to concede that he didn't have enough to pay the $200 a month for their daughter's whatever expense. I can't even remember what it was. And I thought he had nodded affirmatively that, yes, that was true, which is a very weird way to draw the line. I think I would rather deny the $200 a month for my daughter and lie about that than to lie about a $300,000 loan, which is pretty easy to prove.
Yeah. Say like, oh, it was like a business deal gone bad versus not paying for your daughter.
Right. And then I was kind of shocked that Andy didn't press him on any of those things. He just kind of let it go, and they just went back and forth, and it was unresolved, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting how Andy makes mistakes sometimes. Like, right. I think there are times where he should press when he doesn't, and there are times where he should, like, move on when he doesn't. He's not going to be perfect, but he's what we got.
That reminds me of another thing. I thought that he and pretty much the rest of the cast, or at least those on the left-hand side facing stage, when Lacey was saying, this is misogynistic for you to say that I'm paying for him. Mm-hmm. And even Andy was saying, like, no, it would be misogynistic if you said that he was paying. And she said, no, you're not getting it. No one would ever have questioned this if I was a man. And now you're questioning it because I am a woman. And you could just see, especially some of the cast members, they still didn't get it, right? They don't understand that you can compare two things and say you're treating me differently because I'm a woman. That is misogynistic.
Yeah. The way she described it, I understood what she was saying. But when she first said it, I was like, that doesn't... I felt the way that Andy felt. Like, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't it be the opposite?
I got her immediately.
But yeah, I understand. She's saying that, no, you're treating me differently than you would if I was a man.
Right.
That's what I mean. So, yeah, I think she's right.
I do like that Andy came to the defense of the parents on the right side when... What's the woman...
Jasmine?
Yes. She was like, I'm sick of this. You can't blame this on the kids and all this. I said, oh, this is not going to go well, right? And then even Andy, she said, you're making it sound like you're losing sleep and you just act like this and that you just blame it on the kids. And Andy said something to the effect of, well, sometimes that is just the case, right? It is true.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And I know that I don't have kids. You obviously have kids. I'm one of them. I get it that having kids, especially little ones, makes you don't get sleep. I get it for sure. I don't think that gives you a pass to be a bad person, though. Like, Danny and Luke specifically are using it like, oh, well, you don't understand. Like, I have 4 kids. Like, Brittany has an autistic son. She's never complaining about it. Janet and Jason have a child. They're never using it as an excuse. So it's I get it, but I think they're blowing it out of proportion, like using it as an excuse to act a certain way.
Well, I get it. She has you can't use it as a defense for everything. So, for example, if Danny said, hey, I have 4 kids and I don't sleep well, and that's why I grab women's butts.
That's not how that works.
That's not what he said. The timing of when she brought it up was right after something to do with how they fight between the two of them or something very narrow. And so maybe she just had bad timing to bring it up. But you saw all of the parents, including, I thought, Janet and her husband, whose name escapes me.
Jason. I just said
they
it.
were
Like
kind of shaking their heads like, man, you may not want to have gone here.
She worded it terribly.
Yes.
Jasmine did. But I kind of understood what she was trying to say, and that, like, you will not stop bringing up, well, because the kids, because I got to get the kids down, the kids. Like, okay, we get it.
Right.
Like, I understand you're not the first person to have kids and be on a show. Like, it's hard. Of course it is.
Right.
But that doesn't make it an excuse to, like, be rude to other people. So I'll leave it there. I think Jasmine could have worded it a lot better. I think her best point was, like, you guys talk so negatively about having kids, it makes me not want to have kids.
Right.
Which I did think was a valid point. They don't ever talk about how amazing it is to have kids.
Danny tried to.
He did, and I'll give him credit for that. Yeah. Danny, as much as I can't stand him, I think deserves a little bit of credit for, like, trying to, I don't know. He was making sense more than I thought he would. I'll give him credit for that.
At least in
just
that
generally.
segment.
Yeah, just generally, I thought his defenses were a little bit, they made more sense to me than I thought. Especially when he was like, well, I'm getting mixed signals from you guys. And Lala jumped in and said, no, I agree with him here. You are giving him mixed signals.
Right.
So I guess I understand him a little bit more, but I still can't stand him. Let's see. Oh. You know how I'm a big Janet defender, at least right now, not just in this season.
Right.
Now, her having Jax over for Thanksgiving, or I guess they said it was Christmas, kind of crazy.
But she did have a good defense.
Yeah.
She said she cleared that with
Brittany.
Right. Brittany said that would be doing me a favor because it would take him off my hands. He'll stop texting me during dinner, and then I'll be left alone. So that was about as good of a defense.
I agree. So that gave me pause for sure. And then, I wrote down Tom is for sale. I didn't know that. I know you probably don't care. I've been to Tom.
I think they might have said it's already happened. It was sold.
Okay, that's kind of sad to me, but whatever.
That predates my Vanderpump Rules watching time.
Well, I've just been to Tom.
Okay.
Like, well, I guess I haven't been inside because it was too busy, but I was like, we were waiting in line trying to get in. Anyways, the final thing I have to say about this reunion, I'm dying to know what happened at this wedding.
Oh, yes. That's the part that was so disappointing. The previews for this episode made it seem like the question that Andy asks, were you drinking, Danny, at Jasmine's wedding, was going to be answered on the show. But of course, it was the cliffhanger for the end of this episode, and will be in episode 3 of the reunion. Right. But it's he said no.
Yeah. And it's bizarre because they're all like, well, Jesse has to say something. And Jesse's like, what? No.
Was Lacey still on stage at that point?
I can't remember.
Okay.
If she was, she didn't say anything. So, but yeah, they're all like, well, and I think Andy asks Zach and says, well, Zach, what happened? He's like, no, this is all Jesse. So what happened? I mean, clearly Danny probably was drunk, but what does Jesse have to do with it?
That's why I asked whether Lacey was still on the stage, because what if it was something that he did inappropriate with respect to Lacey, and Jesse is the one who would be the one to be mad about it?
Huh. I would think if that were the case, then Jesse would be a little bit more eager to share, but maybe not if he's really trying to defend Danny. I don't know. It's got to be more than just drinking at the wedding.
Right.
So,
we'll see.
I'm excited to see that. I think next we have Next Gen NYC.
Yes.
Which this was the episode they're at BravoCon, which again is crazy. They don't do that on the Housewives.
No, I've
like
never seen it on any of the shows.
Yeah, but I liked it. I mean, a lot of the stuff I'd kind of already known. Like I'd seen some of the quotes that came out, like the Ariana, I would never touch Charlie with a 10-foot pole, which...
Maybe she spoke too quick soon.
Yeah, I think she was maybe a little bit too defensive there, and I don't know. She clearly changed her mind quickly.
The thing that I took away from this episode, we talked about briefly yesterday, is that you and I have talked about going to BravoCon at some point. I was sort of horrified at the number of people and the lines and the number of events. And I've decided if we do, I'm going to have to try to figure out a more VIP way of doing it. And I think that they have had VIP tickets in the past where you have express lanes, but I'm not standing in line to get a selfie for money from somebody. It's just not going to happen. If you want to stand in line and do that, I'll stand to the side and watch or gamble or something.
Yeah, I think the only time when we were talking about this last night, I said there are only a couple people I would do that for. One is NeNe Leakes.
Right.
I think I would maybe do it for Teresa too.
Okay.
I know Teresa has like there are a lot of mixed.
What if it was $20 for a quick selfie?
$20?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're probably charging way more. See, here's the thing: if they're gonna be charging $300 for a selfie, no, I don't care who you are. Sorry.
That's something we can find out how much it cost in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the episode.
Yeah, so I wrote down that Charlie was super shady. He goes, "Oh, well, the kids who grew up on Bravo, this is really important for them." I thought that was kind of funny. He is funny. He's funny.
I know.
I know you really like him.
Well,
I don't think he's probably not the greatest human being, and we don't even know though. So
I like him
hilarious.
as a character / cast member on the show.
Yes, yeah, he's great TV. Great TV. I wrote down, this is stupid, but going to Vegas and playing Topgolf is crazy. There are so many things to do in Vegas, and you choose Topgolf. I don't know.
That might have just been part of production. You have to find some place where you can record and film and not be interrupted by too many fans and too many people in the background. Maybe that was one reason.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I guess maybe the casinos don't always allow you to film there. I don't know.
Oh, right. You probably can't film at all in casinos. I think that's probably a non-starter.
Oh.
And then
that would explain
just
it.
imagine, like, they had a dinner and there were very few tables with people around them. They have to kind of clear out. And I would think that's pretty tough at most Vegas venues.
Right. Yeah. We saw a little dinner in Vegas with Gia and her boyfriend. That made me uncomfortable. Like, I understand he clearly hates being on TV, but Gia's grown up on TV, and she made a point to say, I would like to continue to be on TV. So I don't know. They're going to have to make some decision there.
I thought that was tough too. The part I thought might be a little bit unreasonable on her part is that she wants to continue to be in front of the camera, but for her to say she wants him to be on camera too, I thought was the part that's a bit of a reach.
Well, yes, right now, absolutely. But I think Gia's thinking long term, and she's thinking, if we get married and have a family, like, and he's not going to be on TV, like, that's not really going to work for a show.
Right.
Gia knows that that's how that goes. Like, if your husband's not going to be on there, you don't have as good of a shot to make it on there.
Right. And if they ever have kids.
Like, yeah, what if he doesn't want the kids on the show? That's a big thing, too. So she's thinking long term. And good for her. I mean, she's been with that guy for a while.
Right, but good for her. But think about how oblivious she is to even her own situation. Her parents both went to prison, and it's known by everyone in America, or at least everyone who watched. I don't think she's oblivious to it. Well, she's forgetting about it very quickly. And then how within her family, they hated each other and didn't speak. Her mother and her uncle, they weren't speaking for a time, which was probably exacerbated by being on national television. And she's sort of forgetting the downsides of being in front of the cameras all the time. And maybe this guy is just, wait a minute, I don't want myself to be on the camera. I don't want my kids to be on it. He might be the most rational part of the equation.
No, he is completely justified.
Right.
I should have made that clear. He is absolutely justified to not want yourself or your future children on camera. That is completely legitimate. I don't know. I mean, there's a reason that we're not on camera doing our podcast.
Right.
Like, so, yeah, I just think that's not going to work out.
It's not. She's
unless
not going to
one of them
change
is going to have
mind.
to change their mind. I don't see either of them doing it. So, okay, let's get into. We've got Charlie and Ariana, and then we've got Ava and Shai. I think Ava and Shai is kind of a nothing burger.
Exactly.
I think she's embarrassed. I think he's more like, oh my gosh,
I thought
think
I had a shot.
yeah, I think she's way out of his league, and he got a little bit excited there, and she probably is just embarrassed and like doesn't
Right.
really want to share. Charlie and Ariana, however, these two are bizarre. Just sitting at the table together, and Riley was making me laugh. Riley's like giving her a stank face to them,
Right.
looking down at the end of the table, being like, "What the hell?"
And she calls them out. We have a new dynamic duo at the end of the table, but it didn't stop them. They just
No,
kept chit
no.
chatting and having a side conversation. And I like that production was running that conversation at the same time. There was a heated debate, fight at the other end of the table. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Georgia and Charlie or someone else was fighting.
I
Or
don't
it
even
was
remember either because I was very much focused on.
Shy and Brooks, I think, were fighting.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was going on. And then Ariana and Charlie were not even paying any attention
They
to
were
it.
like in their own world.
Yes,
Which
yes.
is, it's so weird because then you get Ariana in confessionals being like, well, no, he's just so weird. And he says these crazy things that are funny to me sometimes. I'm
But I
like,
like it.
seems like a little bit more than that.
Well, and she
though.
says, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like the attention.
And then giving up your first class seat for Comfort Plus on a trip from Vegas to New York. Oh, I'm not doing that for anybody. I'm
not
sorry.
even sure if it was Comfort Plus. I'd have to go
No,
back and look at
I noticed
okay.
we're Delta flyers. It was Comfort
Okay.
Plus, but Comfort Plus is nothing compared to first class.
Exactly.
I'm never giving up a first class
Especially
seat.
it's quite a long flight from
That's exactly
Vegas to New York.
like maybe if it was an hour flight, like okay, but if I paid for first class, like no shot. I don't. We could be married. I'd probably
Right.
stay in first
Yep.
class. They get back from BravoCon, and Charlie's in the confessional, and he's being super bizarre about how he's talking about Ariana. They're asking him like very simple questions, like, "Have you hooked up with Ariana? Have you guys been hanging out more? What's the deal?" And he's like, he eventually says, "If I had hooked up with Ariana, I'm not going to tell you."
Right.
So, what does that tell us? That it probably happened, and even if it didn't, why would he say, like, it's had to be close? Or
Right. And then they have a preview at the end of the episode that make it pretty clear that that has happened.
Yeah. So I just feel bad for Liam. I really do. And I love I said I've loved Ariana,
Right.
but if she's not going to share this with, or at least let Liam down easy at some point soon, then I'm going to have a problem with that.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think that's all I had for Next Gen.
Okay.
But I'm enjoying the season. I think it's good.
I think so too. It's got a lot of runway to continue to be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before we do the game, you want to talk really briefly about the documentaries.
Sure.
Want to start with Big Chicken?
Oh gosh. Okay, yeah. I came over to hang out with Dad yesterday, so we watched a couple of documentaries together. We started with the new one on Netflix called Big Chicken. There might be an extended title. You know how Netflix likes to do that, but Big Chicken is the basic title. It's this British comedian who loves fried chicken, and he is going to do an experiment similar to the Super Size Me that guy did with McDonald's way back when. But he's going to do it with fried chicken, and it's going to be a month, and he can only eat from like fried chicken spots. So Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, KFC, etc.,
And
etc.
hundreds of more, especially in the UK, that I'd never heard of. And the
Yeah.
full title is Big Chicken, A Fast Food Conspiracy. It is on Netflix, and the comedian and the main character, not character, it's a documentary, is Mo Gilligan. That's his name.
Ah, good. Yeah, he was good. I enjoy him. I clicked on it. It's funny because I clicked on it thinking, oh, it's a comedian. This might be a little bit light.
And I warned you. I said, this is going to be darker than you expect.
Yeah, which I should have known because, of course, they're going to dive deep into the actual chicken industry, the poultry farms, and how they've put so many antibiotics and stuff into this chicken so that it doesn't even taste like anything anymore. So they have to add all these crazy seasonings, and they told us the Popeye's chicken sandwich has like 140 ingredients in it, and um,
And seasonings is being generous and gracious. Seasonings can include a whole bunch of
chemicals.
chemicals,
Yeah.
and some of which are, at least according to the documentary, not regulated by the FDA. Short spoiler alert: if you don't like dark or complicated or thought-provoking, sometimes in a negative way, documentaries, steer clear of this one.
Yeah.
And the title Big Chicken comes from the industry itself. You've heard of big pharma or big ag, as in big agriculture. They refer to the poultry industry as big chicken along those same lines.
Yeah. And it's definitely there's a point. It starts off pretty light, and then there's a point where it kind of turns. And so at the beginning, I'm like, okay, man, like you got to get to America. Like you're missing out on all the best chicken chains. You got to go to Atlanta, get some lemon pepper wings, and then it flips at one point where it's not so light. And I remember turning over to you and saying, this isn't so fun anymore. And you laughed the hardest I've ever heard you laugh, maybe in years.
At the time, it was the understatement of the day.
Because I mean, that we've got these doctors talking about, oh, he could like kill himself if he does this. Like he's going, like if this is going to destroy him, and it's talking about all the poor chickens that are. It's just a lot. It's pretty dark.
Well, and to be complete, the doctor that was speaking about this, I think that she could have made the same comment to all fast food, ultra processed
For
food.
sure. Yeah.
It wasn't just picking on chicken as a protein, but just his approach that he's only going to eat fried chicken. She probably would have given him the same advice if it was, I'm only going to eat Big Macs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I guess chicken specifically isn't the enemy. It's just big chicken.
Right.
And how they're
At the end, you were a little crestfallen, I would say. And I said...
Well, the problem is we had literally just ordered chicken tenders for lunch.
Right. I think I finished off a 10-piece chicken tender
I'm
order.
probably going to finish it off today.
Right.
I'm not going to stop eating chicken. That's my thing.
Well, and a little bit of a spoiler alert. The Mo ends it by saying he's not going to give up chicken.
Yeah.
But he's trying to do something about it. And that I was similarly, I don't want to say depressed, but negative after it, thinking about all the complexity and the people, the workers at these poultry plants, and what the chickens are put through, and the quality or lack thereof of the meat that we're eating. But the silver lining, if you will, was that, hey, this guy is a comedian, and he decided to do this pretty in-depth documentary with documenting his health status before and after, and seeking out I'll say alleged experts, because I'm sure that someone will say, well, they have a bias or they have a bent against this industry. There's probably a little more color there, but at least someone is doing this, right? It could just continue to be unknown and operating behind the scenes, but at least someone is out there taking on this.
Yeah, because it really is crazy when they go into these chicken farms and they're on like lockdown, maximum security, like they have like security like prisons do, and every worker there has to sign an NDA. Like you have to wonder what kind of stuff are they hiding from us? So he finds out some of this stuff, but I think there's probably even more that we don't know.
Right. They refer to the ag-gag laws in a lot of states. I believe it's pretty prevalent among states that produce a lot of, at least, meat. I've never gone down that rabbit hole. I'm not saying I won't, but it does raise a lot of interesting questions. But going back to my main comment, if you prefer to just be oblivious to things, then you might want to steer clear of this one.
Yeah. I think the final thing I'll say, like my broader statement on it, is we both watch a lot of documentaries. There are some that stick with you and some that don't. And I do think that this one's going to stick with me.
Me too.
In a probably not great way, but probably a necessary way,
right.
You know? So
maybe that's a good segue of, speaking of another dark documentary, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. The second one we watched together yesterday, which was 4 episodes as opposed to 1 for Big Chicken, was Dark Wizard, which is not new, but it was new to us. My thought was, number one, I've seen a lot of documentaries about climbers, whether it's mountain climbers or alpine climbers, I think they talk, or rock climbers. And this one focused on the latter, a rock climber who I had recognized when the show started.
Potter, Dean Potter.
Dean Potter, right. So
Harry Potter, as the Chinese
was,
people call him.
groundbreaking as far as free soloing or just climbing in general, but it goes into his personality, and I will not give away the ending, but we were on the edge of our seat.
I was locked in.
We did
the
not
whole
know
time.
how it was going to end, and when I say how it ends, any kind of documentary about an alpine climber or a rock climber, the question is the person still alive?
Yes. So that's the entire time we're asking each other, like, and we're kind of going back and forth. We're like, oh, he's totally dead. And then I'm like, no, is he? He might not be.
And we're not going to say what the
yeah,
result
we're not going to
is,
say.
because it's also a production twist. I've seen a documentary before where I was convinced that the main character they were talking about was dead. They talk about them in the past tense, and I was certain, and then episode 3 of whatever this one is, I can't think of, then suddenly there's the main person. Oh my gosh, I thought this person was dead. And so I didn't know if it was going to be a production twist or not. I'm not giving it away, but I really like it. It will sit with me for some time, but for me, it's just the same thing. Your mother and I, whenever she's kind of caught a tail end or some part about a climber, she just gets immediately angry. Like, they're so selfish, especially when they now he was not married, at least with children.
No kids. Yeah.
He was married at one point during the documentary, and so he wasn't as selfish as some of these other people because he didn't have children. So I liked it. It was somewhat long, at over 4 hours with 4 episodes, but it was worth it.
Yeah, watching this happening is very anxiety inducing too, because for those who maybe don't know climbing, because I don't really know climbing like that, the free solo is climbing up a mountain that could be thousands of feet in the air with no rope, nothing is holding you. If you fall, you die. Right. And that's it. So, and we don't know what happens. So there are all these. He's got this team that films him every time he does a new climb. And every time you're kind of in the back of your head, you're kind of like, oh my God, is this the time? Like, is he going to die? Like, is this going to be the one that he dies? And he doesn't only do climbing. He also will do, what's it called?
Base jumping.
Well, yes. But the other one that freaks me out the most, I think, is the one where you put a line over
between 2 points
above, like a really high up, like a canyon, I think, and he has to walk on this line to get to the end, like a circus with nothing,
like a tightrope walker.
Yeah, tightrope walk. And the one that really got me was someone in China, I guess China State TV, paid him a lot of money to come and do this tightrope walk on live television. He was freaking out. Like, right. He did not want to do it, but he agreed to it, so he kind of had to do it. I am convinced while we're watching this, because it's also kind of getting to be like the later episodes. I'm like, oh, this might be it.
And if you think that they won't show someone die on camera, of course they're not going to show impact, but at one point early on in the documentary, they're interviewing one of his friends who was also one of the ones who filmed these excursions. And Dean Potter says, hey, if I fall, make sure you get the shot. And the guy said, I'm not going to show you impacting, but you don't know whether you're going to watch at least part of his fall on this documentary. And that's part of what makes it so difficult to watch. And I'm afraid of heights. So watching someone, and there's one place in Yosemite, there are 2 spots that are the most important climbing places, at least they say in these documentaries. There are 2.
El Capitan?
Yes, El Capitan.
Well, they would go to Europe a lot, and they would go to Switzerland, and there's the mountain there. It's like the Eiger, yeah. But I mean, they lived in Yosemite, or this main guy pretty much lived in Yosemite. You mentioned the base jumping. They started to get into base jumping, which is you jump off of a really, really tall point on a mountain, and you have a parachute. So you open the parachute and you hoping that it opens and you're hoping you land on clear land. But he started to get into that because I guess he just climbing, he got bored. I don't know. But in Yosemite, that's illegal. And they did a protest one day where they were all going to jump off and kind of like do a joint thing. Like every guy that landed did like a handshake with the park ranger.
Right. And they were going to confiscate their parachutes.
Yeah.
Instead of arresting
except for when they show this woman doing her jump and they show it that she's struggling to open her parachute. And she ends up not being able to open the parachute. And
You just gave away a spoiler.
That's not... It's happened way earlier because I just wanted to make, like... The point that I'm trying to make is that they are showing this footage.
Right.
Of course, like, to your point, that they're not going to show the impact, but, like, it's very unsettling to see this footage and know that she doesn't survive this footage.
The other thing is Half Dome. That's the other... of the two places in Yosemite. It's El Capitan and Half Dome are the two big ones.
Cool.
Anyway, I liked it. I think it's worth watching for those of you out there. And it's...
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I was entertained, so.
And then I'll mention I started Monsters of God on HBO Max. And it's about the reptile industry starting back in the 70s. And some people might be turned off about that and say, I don't care about reptiles. But it's not just about smuggling in reptiles. It's how people across the country were involved, including big famous zoos looking the other way, knowing that these people were smuggling in endangered species. It was part of the reason that they passed the Endangered Species Act in the early 70s. And then it's also tied in with drug smuggling. Some of these people who are fascinated about having illegal, including venomous snakes, are kind of on the edges or fringes of society. And shocker, they might do drugs. And shocker, they figure out, hey, importing or smuggling in cobras might be a good way to hide cocaine in the same shipment. And so only 2 episodes are out. So that's the only part that's a little bit frustrating, and which you expressed, is that it might make sense to wait until it's all out, because I would have preferred to have binged and finished it, and I don't know how many more episodes are forthcoming.
Yeah, for a documentary style, I like a binge a lot better. But
same.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I think it's the Monsters of God thing. I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds a little Tiger King-esque.
Yes. So the people are very crazy, so it's. So interesting.
Yeah, I'll watch it for sure once it's done. Okay, should we get into our game?
Yes.
What we're gonna do here is Dad's gonna step away for a moment, and I'm going to tell you guys, the audience, who I'm about to show him, and then he's gonna come back in. I'm gonna send him the photo, and then he's gonna guess who it is. The first one is Alex McCord. So. You ready for the first one?
Yep.
Now.
Okay. She was on Real Housewives of New York. There's no way I'm going to remember her name, but I will give you a little context. She caught a lot of flack because she was kind of awkward and weird. She lived in Brooklyn in this, I don't know if it was a brownstone, but it was constantly under renovation. I think she was only on for 1, maybe 2 seasons. And
a few more than that, but not that long.
I'm not going to know her name. What is it?
Do you remember her husband's name?
No, but he was also kind of odd.
That is Alex McCord. OG Roni Alex McCord. With her little, like, that outfit that she's wearing was a topic on the show, that they all made fun of her for wearing like a sack.
Oh, it's like a feed sack or something?
Yeah. It was a whole topic on the show. It was a while ago, I know, but. Okay. So, yeah, that was our first one.
0 for 1.
0 for 1.
But I did know the show.
Yeah, you always, usually you recognize the faces that know the show. I think my third one here is going to test that theory.
Okay.
But not yet. I'm hoping you'll know this one. The second one we have is Robyn Dixon.
All right, number 2.
Coming.
Okay. Easy. It's Potomac, Real Housewives of Potomac. She and Gizelle were tight. They even had or continue to have a podcast.
I think they still have it.
And oh my gosh, I'm struggling with her first name. It starts with an L, maybe?
No, it doesn't.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay, give it to me.
That's Robyn Dixon.
Damn.
Yeah.
And her husband was a basketball coach.
Juan.
Yeah. Boy, sorry.
Yeah. The Green-Eyed Bandits.
Yep.
Yeah.
0 for 2.
0 for 2. And finally, we have Marlo Hampton. Okay, I don't know. I really don't know if you're going to get this one now. But let's give it a shot.
I hope the audience recognizes that I am getting Love Island tweet notifications when you send me the text messages.
Tweet? You mean text?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Same thing.
Okay, she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I liked her. She was first on, then I came back, and she was pretty shady. Oh my gosh! But give me the first letter.
M.
Marlo.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Right.
Okay. I gave you a hint, but that's better than I thought. Because Marlo is not on the show currently. She was only an official housewife for one season. I liked her better when she was a friend of NeNe in the early seasons. She's had some moments, but she's not really one of the stars either. So that might be tough.
Sort of 0 for 3 unless context counts, and then I'm.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can count Marlo. Yeah, go ahead and count that one for yourself.
Okay, that's the game. I don't have anything else. Do you?
I don't believe so. Do we have anything starting this week that we know of?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
I don't think there's anything either, but
okay. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week. And as always, if you have any feedback, positive, negative, shows to add, documentaries to consider watching, let us know.
Also, please give us a 5-star review if you enjoy.
Oh, true,
that would be amazing.
And share with your friends.
Yes, we would very much appreciate that. But thanks for listening, regardless.
Thanks.
And we will be back next week.
Take care. Bye.
That's our episode. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for listening.
If you like the show, leave us a rating or a comment. It helps more than you'd think. Follow us wherever you're listening and on social media at Check Me Boomer.
And tell a friend who'd get it.
See you next week.